Baker, and today for English we'll be learning about fanboys. Now, what is a fanboy? The fanboys is an acronym that is crucial for English grammar, especially when you're writing. The acronym contains a list of conjunction words, which will help make your sentences smoother and help them remain grammatically correct. Normally, the fanboys are placed after a comma, and that is something I'll really be stressing in today's class. So, the fanboys is an acronym made of coordinating conjunctions. So, these 7 conjunctions help to give importance to the words or the sentences that they connect. So, F stands for, A stands for and, N stands for nor, B stands for but, O stands for or, Y stands for yes, yet, and S stands for so. Now we'll be going through the different fanboys one at a time today. So F stands for, and an example of this would be, Margaret couldn't buy gum from the store, for she had forgotten her wallet. So a way to use the fanboy for is to further explain your sentences, and you can replace the for anytime with a because they have the same meaning. And again, I'm going to be stressing this entire class that like the other fanboys, it requires a comma beforehand. So notice how right here, before Margaret couldn't buy gum from the store, there's a comma right before the for. Now that always has to be there, or it will be grammatically incorrect. So you want to make sure that your writing is correct by always putting the comma before the conjunction verb. Next we have and. An example of this is Trisha wanted to buy new shoes, and her mother agreed. The usage of this is to join 2 independent clauses together. Now, if you know how to use a semicolon, you could also replace the and with and the comma with a semicolon, which would just turn it into Trisha wanted to buy new shoes. Her mother agreed, with the semicolon in between. So you can always do that if you wish. Sometimes it makes your writing look a little fancier. And again, it requires a comma beforehand. Next, we have nor. An example of this is Alex didn't want the coconut water, nor did his cousin. So the usage of this is the opposite meaning of another conjunction word, which is or. This is always used in a negative context to conjoin 2 negative clauses. So Alex didn't want the coconut water, nor did his cousin, meaning that they both did not want the coconut water. And again, like the other fanboys, it requires a comma beforehand. Next we have but. An example is Aurora wanted to buy some candy, but her dad did not let her. The usage for this is to form a contrast between the first clause and the second clause. So here we have Aurora wanted to buy some candy, and to contrast that and to compete against that, her dad did not let her. And again, it requires a comma beforehand. So right after Aurora wanted to buy some candy, comma, but her dad did not let her. Next we have O, which stands for or. An example of this is Eloise's favorite animal had to be an eagle or a dog. The usage is to present another option within the sentence. So giving 2 options here, we have the eagle and the dog. Since Eloise is a little indecisive, she couldn't decide whether it was an eagle or a dog, which was her favorite. This term is also used to form lists, so it could have been an eagle, dog, or a cat. And again, like the other fanboys, comma before the fanboy. Next we have yet. Mark loved dogs, yet he owned a cat that lives in his room. And so this is normally used to contradict the first clause. And by contradict, I mean to prove, to create some sort of irony between the first clause and the last clause. So it presents another option within the sentence. And again, like the other fanboys, comma, you have to remember the comma before the fanboy, otherwise it will be incorrect. Lastly, we have so. Chelsea's boots got too small for her feet, so she bought a new pair. The usage for this is to draw a conclusion to the first statement. So therefore, it conjoins a statement with a conclusion. We have Chelsea's boots got too small for her feet. That is the problem, and then you can join that with the fanboy. So, but before you do that, remember the comma. So she bought a new pair. That's her solution. So we have problem, solution, and again requires a comma beforehand. And so that's it. Those are the fanboys. So something that we can conclude from that is that the fanboys are useful for expanding on sentences to make your sentences more interesting while keeping things concise. And by concise, I mean not too overcomplicated and not too wordy. It keeps the importance of the second clause while making sure that your sentence isn't too wordy. Lastly, it's easy but effective to use, which is, again, another fanboy. We've got the easy but effective to use. Thought I'd slip that in there. Which also has a comma before the but. So that's exactly what we need. Therefore, it'll be grammatically correct. So thank you for watching this lesson, and I'll see you next time.